All right. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to Mint Collectibles. I am your boy, Mint, and this is the first of many live new comic book day spoiler discussions that I want to do with like a kind of revolving panel of content creators that do the same thing. So I want to let everybody kind of introduce themselves. To my left, we have
The Boy Who Had 7. What's up, guys? My name's Matt. I've been collecting comics since I was 9, so hanging out with this guy is a pleasure. It's pretty awesome to be here. On my show, I do a show called Comic Gories, where we get together and we have a competition. We get into our comic collection in 30 seconds and try to see who can get the best book out.
which is one of the most fun live shows I've ever seen.
Dude.
Like, what do you say? Like, let me see a red cover, and then everybody has to scramble to find like red covers.
That's right, man. So we completely 100% just pull them live, and then we say, okay, get out a red cover, and then everyone's got 30 seconds to get a red cover. The chat votes, and the winner is crowned at the end of the show. You know?
I like that, yeah.
So,
all right, and then up to our right, I guess we got comics with Bueller. What's going on, man?
Well, I appreciate you having me on. First time on Gem Mint, hopefully one of many to come.
Sure.
If you're not familiar with Comics with Bueller, I talk about comics all the time. I put out many different videos. There's tons of series that are on my channel. It's almost too many to name. eBay versus Overstreet. We do auctions. We do a weekly sneak peek video that is one, if not the most watched sneak peek video every week. Nice. Thousands and thousands of people watch that. We're sitting at almost 8,000 subscribers. This is actually our first full year of doing YouTube content, nice. And there's a lot more stuff to come. So if you're not familiar with me, like I said, Comics with Bueller, just go to that search engine on YouTube, type in Comics With, and my name pops right up, and go ahead and click on that. Subscribe to the channel. It doesn't cost anything. It's free of charge. Put on that notification button and get all the other videos, including interviews from Chris Claremont, Neil Adams, Donnie Cates, and we go even further from Donnie Cates. We interviewed his wife. That's how far we go down the rabbit hole.
Cool, actually, too. We met her at El Paso Comic-Con. She was cool.
Well, she is awesome. She's awesome.
Shameless plug. My man Bueller got it in now, but that's what it's all about. Like I told these guys, I really want to let everybody, get their shine on. So definitely Comics with Bueller. Below us, we got Robbie from Pop Culture Philosophers. What's up, man?
What's up? I am extremely ecstatic to be here. I'm Rockin' Robbie from Pop Culture Philosophers. We do a weekly comic book review there. We also do movie reviews, and we do live streams and all kinds of fun, interesting stuff like that. So if you love comic books, pop culture, and like to dig in a little bit, check out Pop Culture Philosophers.
I think when I first started doing new comic book day reviews, I searched YouTube to see who was doing it, and Robbie's pulled right up. And I always see Robbie rants. And,
oh yeah.
So you were one that I was like, okay, so this is somebody else that's doing it. Let's see how we could do it and how we could do it different. So very cool to have you here. A lot of people in the chat are saying crossover event, and it's definitely a huge crossover.
Thanks
and
for
last
having
but not least, right now we have Chad from 90MF Comics. What up, man?
Yo, what is going on, Gem? What's going on, Matt, Bueller, Robbie? Pleasure being here. And for all the 90-holics in the chat, YouTube is 90. I'm super ecstatic to be here. I'm a huge fan of yours, Gem, as I was mentioned before we went live. So it is an honor to be part of this incredible panel. And you can find me at 90MF Comics. And as Robbie mentioned, what we do best is we talk comics. We talk comics every Wednesday, where we review new books that came out the previous week. We show off what we picked up and anything else that we're reading. And you can also find the epic slab down. That's right. Cover versus cover. Comic book collector versus comic book collector with me, my boy, Comic Head 84. So come check us out at 90MF Comics. And it was kind of hard to follow what Bueller did up there.
And you're also on MCE.
Oh, and most importantly, yes, I am on the MCE channel, That Geek Show. They've slowed down on that Geek Show on Monday nights, but George and the guys of MCE, those guys are awesome. If you guys have not checked them out, definitely go check it out. Seth is the pop knight, and I know the Geminites have been getting into pops now. And if you guys have not checked out Seth, go check him out.
Seth is probably one of my favorite things to watch on YouTube right now.
Bro, so entertaining.
Him and Bueller and Sam. Those are the two videos when I'm at work. I'm working. But yeah, man, and I like how it all kind of connects, because I know Bueller through Comic Tom, who Comic Tom will definitely be on this show. Fire Guy Ryan is probably going to jump in tonight. Mike Spider Slayer from Comic Book Corner 2.0, he's on board. He just has a little bit of a tighter schedule, but we'll try to do this every Friday because my whole thing was I like to drop the new comic book day reviews on Wednesdays without spoilers, so everybody gets an idea of what's going on, what did I think about it. So this is a cool opportunity for us to talk spoilers about the books that came out this week, and it's something we could do every week with whoever's available.
Okay.
And we don't have to worry about, oh crap, don't say this or that. Because have you ever accidentally given a spoiler? People get pissed.
They do, bro.
I mean, I've used to spoil everything on my channel. I used to be shameless. I was like, I didn't care. I was opening up pages and everything like that. But
as
then,
long as you're going into it saying like, hey, this is going to be a spoiler review, I guess it depends what you're doing, right?
No, for sure. But no, we eventually started to like go away from it because we realized, people didn't have time to go read it themselves. So it gave them time.
I've seen you slip a time or two.
Yeah, I'll be slipping. and so also, I'm going to be the first one to say, I'm not the best at comic book retention, man. I read something and I'm like, damn, do I even remember what I just read? So talking about it, especially with you guys, I feel like it's going to help me just retention-wise, especially when we're reading like Jonathan Hickman and stuff like that. Yeah. So that's what's going to be
especially Hickman.
Right, exactly. And I'm sure we'll learn from each other and get different perspectives. I think that's kind of the intro, right? I don't want to drag it on too long. Oh, the chat. On my channel, we usually are very heavily interacting with the live chat. But for these shows, we're going to just kind of keep it related to what we're talking about because people will start asking me about statues in there or omnibus or what's my favorite omnibus. Ain't got time for that right now because we got a large panel of people that we're going to talk about the books that came out this week.
Yeah, there's Ryan. He just popped in.
Oh, Ryan. So look, click the link I sent you. Hold on. Does Comic Tom have to put up with this?
Probably. That's why Tom hasn't come to his house. Right?
Exactly. So Ryan, click on that link I just sent you. All right, so guys, we're gonna jump. We're gonna start off with Marvel this week. We're gonna just jump out there with the stuff that probably we have all read, and we'll talk spoilers. So you guys want to jump out with Fallen Angels first?
Let's do it.
That's the big one. So this one I felt like was my pick out of everything. This was my pick of the week. I don't know how strongly you guys felt about it.
Same.
Was it?
Oh, man. It blew me away, man. In the pull list already.
What about you guys?
The top 10 for sure. Okay. Absolutely.
It's got its argument. I might be torn between the other one as well.
Which one? X-Men 2 or?
Yeah. And then, I mean, I also have been loving everything Donny Cates is doing. So Guardians was a great read as well. But
so I definitely like. All right, we'll talk about Guardians when we get there because I have some opinions on that. So Fallen Angels. So we got Psylocke, but it's not Betsy Braddock, huh?
It's Quanon.
Quanon.
Yeah.
So Quanon is the person who Betsy stole her body when she became Psylocke.
Yep.
So because Betsy Braddock was first in this Captain Britain 8 or something, or what was the?
Yeah, it's Captain Britain 8.
Is it 8? So she wasn't Psylocke then.
Nope.
She was Betsy Braddock when she came to American Comics New Mutants Annual 2. So maybe you guys, I don't know, what happened to Betsy Braddock?
Man, she.
What, like right now?
Yeah, on that one.
What's that, Robbie?
What, like right now? Like what's happening to her now? Where's she at?
She's not here. I guess I don't know if it matters or not, but
she's in Excalibur. Did you read Excalibur?
Yeah, I did read Excalibur. Oh, okay.
So she's the new Captain Britain.
She's the new Captain Britain. That's right, because that whole issue was with her and her brother, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
And then they brought back their older brother from the dead, and he's not really a good dude. So.
Late to the show, Fire Guy Ryan from Comic Time 101. Yeah,
I'm late
over there. You lost your chance for an intro, being late. Right
What's
now,
up, Ryan?
We're talking Fallen Angels 1. So, this villain or this threat, right, that she gets a warning from. What is it? Apoth? Is that how you say it?
Yeah, I think so, man. Apoth,
Apoth, something like that.
Yeah.
Apoth.
Apoth. Is that somebody that we've heard of before?
I think it's new character.
It's not. Yeah, I've never heard of it.
Brand new character. Yeah.
So shout out to Unruly Simeon with the $5 super chat. Appreciate that, brother. So basically, Xavier is dead. That was kind of a shocker at the end of X-Force 1.
Huge shocker, man.
So, I was really blown away. But as I was doing the review for Fallen Angels 1, I was like, oh, yeah, they can bring back any mutant at any time. And they're all uploaded to, like, this cloud server or whatever.
Right.
Yeah.
So I guess Professor X is going to be back soon, I would imagine.
Surely.
I mean, he's died
like-
how many times already?
Right?
Yeah, exactly.
Did they have another one of them Cerebro things though? With all that, like, who's gonna do it? Gene, I guess, or something.
Maybe somebody
Yeah.
better do it.
That's true, because they got to fill in to be able to bring them back.
So
Yeah.
I
So
bring-
this gives some time.
I bring that up to say because Xavier's gone, Psylocke has kind of got to get permission to leave Krakoa, so she steps to Magneto, which was a kind of dope scene, right?
Yep.
Yeah, and the artwork in this book is phenomenal as
It
well.
almost looks like they borrowed from the statue world when they had him on the throne like that and everything.
Yeah. With that red
And it was
white
kind of,
suit.
and he didn't want to give her the go ahead, but he was like, go ask your mother, kind of, right?
Yep.
I thought that was like the Abraham Lincoln type thing, how he was sitting up there on the throne. That's
That
kind of
was
what
very
that was meant to be.
Lincoln-esque. Yeah, for sure. So then he says, "Go ask Sinister," and Sinister, how she gets him on board. I forget what she says to make him kind of interested in it.
Man, they had some good quotes in this book, bro.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Oh, you got some notes?
Dude, I got some notes.
You're better than
man.
me, brother.
Yeah, man.
Well, I got to say one thing, and obviously this is full spoilers. And one thing I did not know, because I didn't read X-Force #1, is that Charles Xavier had died.
Yeah.
And I'm reading the book, and they mention that. I'm like, what are they talking about?
Yeah.
So I have to go back and read my copy of X-Force. You definitely have to read all these new X books to know what's going on, because they are all tied in together.
Yeah, I would say so.
Minus
I-
New Mutants, that was
New Mutants.
trash.
So I think if you like, what's the New Mutants artist name? Bill, what is it? The old school guy?
Bill Sienkiewicz.
Yeah. So I think if you were a Bill Sienkiewicz fan, you would have liked the New Mutants run, right? Would you agree?
Yeah, I think so. I like what Rod Reese did with that book. That's just me. But
Yeah.
I know that definitely all of these are building up to some kind of big crossover that's going to happen.
Right.
Like the initial thing was like 12 issues each, and then something big, like a weekly event again or something like that. So they're all going to be telling one big story for sure.
So what was the deal at the end of this Fallen Angels, right? So I guess Psylocke has a daughter out there in the world.
Yep.
So she was kind of when she had the daughter. What happened? It was like a Black Widow kind of vibe, or like
Exactly.
right?
Yeah, man.
Like I guess whoever she was training under, or
It seemed to me like she was being brainwashed though in that training, man. Like they were using her to form her into a weapon,
Right.
And cutting every kind of emotion, including her daughter, out of her life. You know what I'm saying?
so that gives her some stakes, right? So she has a daughter out there.
Yep.
And then rolling with X-23, but she was badass in this
Yeah.
issue, right?
Yeah,
For
she
sure.
was.
I mean, I
Yeah,
guess she
was.
always is, but I really liked her. And then Young Cable. So maybe I don't know who can help me out. Why do we have Young Cable?
Kid Cable came back to kill old Cable because he didn't do his job that he was supposed to do. So Kid Cable
Oh.
came back in Extermination, the Ed Brisson book, and killed the old version of himself and took
So
over.
this was prior to House of X, then.
Yes.
Yep.
Okay,
Yes.
because I jumped back
Yeah.
onto X-Men with House of X.
Yeah, it was right before it when they were trying to redo it again. You know.
Yeah, they were cleaning a lot of house, and so they were just taking care of a bunch of stuff, getting rid of it, I guess. And yeah, so.
So
But
I
now we
guess
got a Kid Cable.
You got a Kid Cable, and he's not really that badass. He's kind of funny though. I guess if we want to do X-Men 2 next, because he was in Fallen Angels and X-Men 2, and I liked his dialogue. He was pretty funny in X-Men 2.
He's got a little bit of a comedic attitude,
Yeah.
Right?
For sure.
Anything else you want to say about Fallen Angels?
I want to, you read these stories. Obviously, Fallen Angels was a series I remember from the 80s. And I don't know if anyone else checked that out. This is obviously has nothing to do with that one type thing. They just have that name on here. And then they talk about basically the utopia now of all these mutants living together. You can obviously tell that's not going to last.
It's not going to work.
Yeah,
Hell no.
it's not going to work. People in this book, they want carnage. They want war type thing.
Right.
It's only a matter of time before it just erupts.
You gotta check some.
gotta check
Because
it out.
Apocalypse is already dealing with. I guess I don't know. Was that in what issue was that when Krakoa merged with the other island?
That's X-Men 2.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So we'll
X-Men
talk about
2.
that in X-Men 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll talk about it there. But yeah, I guess the Fallen Angels. The artwork was crisp. I like the butterfly stuff with
yeah,
Psylocke. They really had a lot of good panels for her.
Yeah, man.
Did we ever know that she had a daughter before? Because that was news to me.
It was
but
news
I
to
don't
me
know
too.
much
That's
about that.
brand new, I think.
Okay.
Brand new. But I mean, like you said, it gives it stakes. I mean,
Right.
this guy Apoth has her daughter and has obviously been drugging the daughter to do bad things. Because that's the daughter in the first panel. That's how I take it.
So this is
Yeah.
the first appearance then.
I think so.
If they end up making her a big character, but I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
those books don't really pop unless those characters become big movie stars or something. But
That's true.
I don't know. That still might be one on y'all top 10 list, Fire Guy Ryan. Fallen Angels,
never
one,
know.
baby.
So what I was thinking is, you guys mentioned earlier that there's this whole vibe that this is not going to work. Krakoa's got some type of darkness in it, some type of, it's not the paradise it seems to be. And in this book, Sinister says, "Oh, how this paradise would judge us if it knew what we truly were." You know, when I read that, I was like, dang, like it's coming. And then X-Men 2,
Yeah.
it changes, man.
And yeah, so I mean, we seen Krakoa start kind of producing these like animals and shit, right?
Yep.
Yeah, bro.
Monsters.
And awesome panels as well. Like I love those battle scenes with them.
You know, we were talking earlier about the Chad had mentioned he was watching the X-Men animated series. Now it's on Disney Plus. One of the thing about the X-Men animated series was they did those long, year-long arcing story arcs, and you had to watch every episode. This is kind of how I see the X-Men books right now. They're literally doing these long, huge story arcs. I really don't see too many stand-alone stories. They all go together, and it is a little confusing, to be honest, because there's so many titles. And I think there's like 3 more that are coming as well. So, I mean, you really got to put in the work to know what's going on in these.
I appreciate it, though. I like how everything is tied in with Krakoa, and it's like this whole new era of this united mutant front, but we're getting these glimpses, like you guys said, that it's not going to last. Right. Real quick, shout out to... You want to name that person for me?
Psycho.
$2. Looks like they sent €2. Appreciate that.
We just call him S squared over at PCP.
Shout out to Perry Comics. He's picking spots or something. Is that lotto numbers or what?
No, that's Tim telling Ryan to do the Lost videos.
Oh,
that's the Lost numbers.
Thanks, Perry.
I like it.
With the $5 holla, appreciate it. All right, so let's jump into X-Men 2, right? So X-Men 2 is Jonathan Hickman, because he's not doing all the Dawn of X titles.
No.
And so this is the one, because like Bueller, I'm getting confused. Did I read that in X-Force or was that in X-Men?
Yep.
But basically, a new island pops up out of nowhere, and Krakoa is beelining to the island.
Yep.
Bottom line is, it's a female island. Krakoa is just trying to get some.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, there's island intercourse going on in this book.
So they merge together. So now the Krakoa island's a little bigger, and Hickman gives us his graph with all the little posts and all this stuff. He does so well. And we have like the character that was on the female island. He reminds me of Ex Nihilo, but it's not, right. It's I don't even remember the guy's
Summoner?
name.
He's like a summoner.
The summoners, right?
Yeah,
so there's
summoner?
3 tiers of summoners. I think this must have been the lowest tier. Now, what do they summon? They summon like other summoners.
Demons.
They summon demons.
Well, he's one of the children of one of the original horsemen, right?
Is that what it was? So
I think
what was the 4 They mentioned the 4 horsemen in here.
They did.
Yeah, I got the idea that the 4 because Apocalypse knows this older island, and I got the idea that maybe he called some, if not all, of his 4 horsemen originally from there, because we know that the 4 horsemen are going to be big deals. Like his original ones, they're coming back.
Yeah. So this is a child of the war of the 4 horsemen. Wasn't that what it was?
Yep.
I think it was War. Yeah.
Because he asked them like which of my horsemen, and they said War. Okay.
Yeah,
so
it's War. Yeah.
So Apocalypse is plotting on something. Yeah, you're not going to live peacefully with Apocalypse.
No.
It's just not going to happen.
No. It was kind of creepy to see him at the end.
Yeah, coming out the trees.
Yeah, coming out the trees and then hug this
Yeah,
thing,
this is
you
like-
know? Like,
Yeah, it's a weird image, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, it's like the Virgin Mary with the baby Jesus holding it, or something like that. Is what it looks like. It looks
Nuzzled
something like
in his
that.
bosom.
Yes,
Yeah.
right.
So the X-Men title is really the Summers clan is like the main characters, it seems, right?
Yep.
So you have Cyclops, they're living on the blue spot of the moon or whatever.
Yep.
And what you got, Vulcan is there as well, and Havoc. But we didn't really get much of them in this issue, I don't think, right?
No, we didn't see them
No.
at all.
Well, this
We
is a
didn't see
very
them at all.
small
No.
cast of characters in this issue. I mean, there was only like 4 or 5 characters total.
So it was young Cable was there as well, right?
Yeah.
Cable and Rachel.
It was Cable and Rachel, brother and sister.
Yeah, so it's like a monster hunting field trip with Dad.
Yeah.
Exactly. Oh, and then the whole thing with the grenade or something, he gives it to him as a gift. Is that what they
Yeah, you're thinking about the right one.
Yeah.
And he said, I gave it to you. I didn't tell you to open it.
That's right.
He almost had like a Deadpool vibe dialogue. I mean,
felt that.
He was definitely snarky. I liked it though.
Yeah. It kind of, I'm not sure if there's Dragon Ball Z fans out there, but it reminded me of Mr. Satan giving Boo the bombs, you know?
Yes.
And walking
yeah.
off it, you know?
Mr. Satan, I hated until the end. He redeemed himself like
He does
crazy,
redeem
right?
himself, bro.
That's a whole nother show. So anyway, X-Men 1, I thought was super slow, man. So
Yep.
this one was way more fast paced. I enjoyed it way more.
The thing that blows me away is every time I read the new Hickman book, there's a new angle, and it just keeps taking angle after angle after angle. You know, I mean, this whole Damon thing.
He's a builder for sure, man.
Yep.
Yeah. So what was the other thing on here? I just had something I was thinking about.
I still can't get the image of the creepiness of Apocalypse coming out of the bushes.
Yeah.
Like even the character itself looks weird and eerie to me. So I'm just like,
Let me open this up, man. Maybe.
Shout out DJ Sick Rick for the $10 super chat. Apocalypse is the Suge Knight of the X-Men universe. You got a panel, Robbie?
Yeah, right there. There it is.
Hold on. Let me get you on the screen. Oh yeah. Just cradling him.
Yeah, man. That's just crazy.
panel of the week. Panel
Some
of
good U art.
That's why it was my read of the week, because of that panel.
Do I need a mod? I got a mod in here. Fee's here. We got my wife Fee. She's playing the sidelines right now.
Taking care of business.
So what else happened in here? Because I just had something and an X-Men 2.
Just trying to roll through to see if there's anything that you remember, man.
There was something else about it.
There's a funny little line that Cyclops said because everybody's like, him and Wolverine and Jean are like sharing living quarters.
Yeah, that's weird.
That's weird. Yeah.
And someone, like the kid asked him, or somebody asked him something about, does he love one person? He's like, well, that's complicated.
Sam knows all about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
my buddy Sam has a theory on that. If you want to check that out, go watch the last PS show.
Okay.
It's horrifying.
Yeah.
There was another angle on here, but I lost it. All right, whatever.
It's all good, man.
All good. All right, cool. So that's the X books. What else for Marvel? So do you guys, did everybody read Guardians, or who's reading that?
I got Guardians.
Yeah, Red Guardians.
All right, so Guardians. Let's pull up Guardians then, right? So Donny Cates. I always enjoyed Donny Cates. I think the last issue of Guardians I didn't love. Like, I'm not really big on this Church of Universal Truth thing.
Yep.
Right? It's a little bit boring. And who is it? It's Star-Lord's dad?
Yep.
Is the head?
Yeah.
Yep.
This one was dope, though. So Rocket, first of all, they've been teasing the death of Rocket for this whole run. We're on, what, 12 issues?
It ain't happening.
Still
yo.
didn't happen.
It's not gonna happen.
He's been close to death the whole time. He basically can't survive unless he's in this Megazord, right?
Which is awesome.
But at the end, they destroy the Megazord, and he's walking like, yo, I gotta do this quick.
Yep. Beta Ray Bill, what are you doing, bro?
Better Ray Bill threw Stormbreaker.
That's right.
And severed the machine, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
What about Groot? I mean, I love teenage Groot with the mohawk.
Yeah, man.
He could talk now.
Yep.
I'm not so down with him talking. That seems a little weird, doesn't
It
it?
does seem weird. I
No,
was
but
thinking
that
today.
happened pre-Infinity Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, so
It was
I mean,
like-
I don't
yeah.
know. I dug it.
Okay.
I liked it too
I'm
because, I mean, how many times are you gonna read him say "I am Groot"? It's like,
Yeah, it's true.
For sure. And then have Rocket speak for him in a sense.
yeah. So,
I'm cool with him being able to talk, and I like that he's a smartass, and he's
He's a
almost
smartass.
He's a teenager, bro.
I love his mohawk.
I love the mohawk. What else happened in Guardians? So I guess that was a big thing. What Moondragon? Yo, I really am not a Moondragon fan, but she was badass in this book.
Dude, that huge dragon,
She-
all the fire and
Bro.
everything.
Exactly, yo.
Yeah, dude, that was so great.
Because her whole thing, Moondragon, she's always with, what's the other girl? The girl is her and
Phyla-Vell.
Yeah,
Phyla-Vell.
Yeah.
I always think about the Infinity Gauntlet stuff, and I don't know, it just always was like the worst part of Infinity Gauntlet for me. I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel you, man.
This book was a really easy read. I mean,
Yeah.
it literally took like
Quick.
5 minutes and I was done. This was basically an action-packed book. I don't know if you guys saw this last page,
Hold on, let me make you bigger real quick.
but this thing is
Yes.
just awesome
Yeah.
with all the characters.
So that's
love
Magus.
that.
Magus.
Magus. So they're basically
Yeah.
saying you really want to go toe to toe with these are all the Guardians of the Galaxy. Squad deep.
I think the next issue is going to be the one because this story arc has one more issue to go. So this is
Before-
part 5 of 6. Next one is the ending of it. So if Rocket's going to go away, that's
going
probably
to
going to be the issue.
Well, Donny Cates is bigging it up that this and with Silver Surfer Black and the Thanos is dead and all that
Yeah.
stuff is leading up to, I guess, Annihilation Scourge is what is supposed to be the big thing.
It's exciting.
I don't know how Silver Surfer Black's going to tie in because all of that was like taking place before creation, really.
Yep.
Yeah.
It feels like more of those books tie into his overall Venom story
Right.
than what Guardians is going towards. So when they were like, yeah, Death of the Inhumans and Silver Surfer Black and everything's leading up to this, I'm like, really? Are y'all
It's
just
gotta
saying
be-
that?
It's got to be that Noel comes to Earth and he fucks up the Guardians and he messes up with the symbiotes and he messes up Thor because you got King Thor's ending after 4 issues.
I think it's all leading to his Thor run.
Yeah.
Could
Oh
be.
yeah,
Yeah,
that makes a lot of
January,
sense.
But that's
And
what,
into the next summer event for Marvel, probably in
For
2020.
sure.
that's
Like,
where Noel wasn't that where he first introduced Noel was in the Thor book.
well, Noel was first, I guess you could say, was introduced by Jason Aaron.
That's right,
And
yep.
the original God of Thunder issue number 6. I guess that's the one that everyone considers it. But it was just like a very glimpse appearance. And I guess Donny Cates asked him if he could use that character and like run with it. And that's how he created Noel.
Yeah.
So
What do you guys think about Marvel letting him place Noel in so many different titles?
I think he has free run. He can do whatever he wants. He's their golden boy right now, and he can, whatever he wants. If he wanted to resurrect, Beavis and Butthead, Marvel used to have that title, they'd let him do it and put that.
I would totally read it. I
First
would
of all,
totally
take my
read
money
it.
now.
Yes, for sure. Putting on the pull list right now.
I think he should bring back the Kid and Play book.
It really makes Noel have potential to be a big villain, like a Thanos level villain, rather than like a Spider-Man villain.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I see that.
And I also like the fact that it's excitement for a newer villain. Like some of the newer villains, I think throughout comic books right now have just missed completely. And this is one I think has legs, and they're running for sure.
Yeah. All right,
And it adds a lot to the Venom mythology or lore or whatever, right?
It gives them layers. It gives Venom layers, which he's never had before. Which that's what I've loved about Donny Cates' run. Because being a kid from the '90s, I mean, Spider-Man and Venom is, two of my favorite characters.
Something
absolutely.
interesting is going on with Brock. We're gonna find out soon. I'm excited about that.
Oh, and I'm interested with Dylan, and I guess that's a whole nother subject.
We have no Venom books this week, but definitely Dylan's got something in him.
Oh, bro, for
Bottom line.
sure. For sure, man. And I cannot wait to see what that is.
You're out of Marvel books?
I'm done.
I got 2 more. I got Punisher, Soviet, and Morbius. Did you guys read any of these?
Yes.
I read both of them.
So
I read both.
All right, let's put up Punisher, Soviet. So I didn't even realize. Okay, when I saw Punisher, Soviet solicited, I thought, okay, a new Punisher book, I'm in. I didn't even look that it was Garth Ennis and that it was a Max title.
Yeah.
Bro,
I should have grabbed it.
What?
I should have.
It's good.
it's a good book, man. So who is the guy on the cover? Do we know who he is yet?
I don't think so. I don't. Well, at least the guy at the end of the book, is that what you're talking about? That he meets
Who
in the
I
bar.
assume is the guy on the cover too, right?
Yeah. Oh, I don't know if I have the same cover you do.
Oh, okay.
I
Yeah,
have a
so
different cover.
I guess Punisher, it starts off that somebody is doing Punisher-type jobs as good as he does, but it ain't him. So he's like, who the hell is doing this, right?
Yeah.
And he's taking out, I guess, is he taking out Russians or? I
Yeah,
don't
he's
remember.
taking out. It sounds like he's been taking out a bunch of people all over the place.
Right, okay.
And everyone thinks it's the Punisher doing it. I
Right.
mean, he's literally. It's happening just how the Punisher would do it. So
Right.
everyone assumes that the Punisher is doing it, and then the Punisher finds out about these. He's like, "I had nothing to do with those." But then the Punisher still kills the people that let him know. So just like in Punisher fashion,
Yeah.
this is an old school Punisher book type thing. When I read this, it kind of brought me back to the early books in the 80s and stuff. I loved it. It's a brand new series. It's definitely not a kid-friendly book by far. I mean, it's the Max Comics series.
Yeah.
It's really good. I really enjoyed it.
Chad, you got something?
Oh, bro, I was just saying, it feels exactly like when Garth Ennis and Steve Dillon were doing Punisher, which was probably one of the greatest Punisher reads of all time. So
I agree.
I happen to have read, because I'm a big omnibus guy, so I happen to have read Punisher, both Ennis runs, the Max run and the regular one. This one feels not as jokey. I mean, so far it was more of a serious tone, but I'm definitely in on this book. It was nice to see Ennis back on Punisher on a R-rated book, and I guess the Russians, I mean, they're painting a picture of like Italian mobs and Irish mobs who had certain rules and guidelines, and that the Russians would come and they would do what the other guys wouldn't do. They're killing kids, they're bombing school buses or whatever. You know what I mean?
So they're bad.
So they're bad. They're so bad that they've been able to clean up their operation to be 100% legit, which is, I guess, going to be even worse.
Yeah.
If this organization is legit, I don't know. It's a big problem. So I guess that's what Punisher and his new sidekick or whatever are gonna have to handle.
I really enjoyed the scene where Punisher lures like a group of the bad guys or whatnot. There's like 20 or 30 of the villains and stuff. And he lures them into this warehouse.
The warehouse.
Yeah, they follow his van, and he escapes through a hole in the van and goes to the sewer, and he has like a C4 explosives there. The cool thing is, yeah, they don't show the explosion. There's no panel showing the explosion. It literally cuts to him walking through the sewer, come back out, and it's just devastation. The building is blown away. There's bodies everywhere. There's people just crawling around. I like the fact that they don't show the explosions. I thought that was pretty cool because that's just typical Punisher, doing his work.
Yeah. You know what he did. You don't got to see it.
Yeah, exactly.
No, Punisher Soviet is dope. I recommend it. I mean, this is going to be a good run, man. I can feel it.
Yeah, Garth Ennis on Punisher is perfect.
That's what I'm saying. You can't go wrong with that. It's his third go at it.
Yeah.
All
that
right,
was probably read of the week. Thinking about it, man.
You think so? It was up there, man.
Bro, that opening panel
with that room. What was it? Opening panel was like the room with the dead bodies, right?
Yeah, Buddy. Yeah. First it's Buddy laying there, then you flip the page, it's the room.
Yeah.
It sounds.
You want to borrow? You can borrow mine, man.
Dude, I'd love to.
Yeah. So the last Marvel that I have is Morbius. So Morbius is not one that I really wanted to pick up. I always just felt like, dude, we know, you're going to try to be human. You're trying to do the serum. You're kind of a Spider-Man villain. You're a vampire. I don't know. And that's kind of what happened, right? I mean, so nothing big. I guess the thing is, the big thing here was that he injects himself at the end, and it kind of makes him more of a monster. So that's going to be probably what we're dealing with this run. Maybe now that he's more monster-esque, he's going to go out there and fuck shit up, and he's going to be a problem.
Yeah. Yeah, I liked it because it kind of felt more like a lot of Morbius stuff is just like your typical, I'm trying to cure myself. Oh, woe is me. I'm sad. I'm depressed. I'm a sad vampire, living vampire, whatever. But this one felt more like the 70s horror. I was really surprised that it was so violent at times, right? I really like Ayala's work. I met them in Memphis a few weeks ago, and they were super, super excited for this book. And I read it, and I liked it. I liked it a lot, but I really like the horror stuff, and I'm a big fan of 70s Marvel horror especially. Okay. So to me, it kind of felt more back into that and outside of the whole Twilight version of Morbius a little bit. Yeah. It was definitely the coolest version of the Melter I've ever seen, which is that cheesy villain that they use. But I liked him. I liked the book. I thought it was cool.
I thought it was good too. I'm not tremendously familiar with Morbius. I haven't really read too much of his stuff, and I found this book really easy to read and really easy to introduce the character. And obviously, this character is going to be on the forefront with the movie coming out, I believe, next year. And this is going to be a lot easier for people to relate because they can jump in this right now. You don't need to know a tremendous backstory because this book does explain it very well, and it's easy to jump on. And I believe this is an ongoing series, so this will still be going on as the movie comes out next year. So they'll tie together maybe.
Yeah, I figured that was just a smart play. Like, okay, movie's coming out. Even though it's a Sony movie, I guess Disney is playing nice with Sony's. Sometimes they are, sometimes they're not.
I don't think they are with Morbius, though. But I don't think they're really too involved with that. So what's that, Jared Leto, right?
Yeah, it is Jared Leto.
Yeah.
You know
that could go either way.
But yeah, I mean, more books will sell because if people are hyped about the movie. So maybe it was Marvel finally doing it's like the other way around.
That's right, man.
Okay, we're going to capitalize off you using our stuff.
That's right.
Does anybody else have any other Marvel books you guys want to talk about? Or I'm out of Marvel.
I'm out of Marvel too.
The only other Marvel book I didn't read. This is the what's that? IDW collaboration with that. That's a Spider-Man one.
What's that cover?
Marvel Action.
Those are hot books.
Yeah, right now, these are hot books right now. I don't read these books, but this is the only other Marvel book I got.
Was that the book that was like a Walmart book or something? Or
no, it's the 1 in 10. It's a kid's book. That's probably why I don't read it. I know Ryan reads them all the time, but as far as myself, I don't read it.
They're good books for kids, though. They really are.
Yes, they are.
All right, cool. So let's go over to DC. So I bet everybody is reading. Is everybody reading Batman's Grave?
Yeah.
All right, let's talk Batman's Grave, I guess, real quick. I didn't even get that Year of the Villain one shot.
No?
Let me get to that next. So Batman's Grave. So I kind of was digging the first issue, and this one, I don't know. I just thought it was kind of boring. I wasn't really feeling it.
I read the first issue and wasn't a fan, and so I just dropped it, man.
Yeah.
The only Batman I've been enjoying is Detective Comics.
Yeah, it's tech right here.
Robbie, I think you read this. So you were digging Batman's Grave too, huh?
Yeah, I did. I'm a big Warren Ellis fan, and I get where a lot of people I get how this issue seems boring because it's like over half of it's just an action scene
Right, no
with some
dialogue.
crazy dude that we don't even know, right? But that, like, for instance, the dialogue between Alfred and Bruce at the end, like, Warren Ellis really gets that relationship, and I really like his hungover Alfred. That was really fun. Warren Ellis definitely writes for the trade. So he's writing like, this is just a small chapter out of 12, right?
Yeah.
So I think this is going to iron itself out when you read it in 12 issues. But yeah, as a single issue, like if you just picked it up and read it, you'd be like lost, confused. You'd have no, like, who is this crazy dude or whatever? That being said, Warren Ellis, the way he writes and paces out, along with his artist, and Brian Hitch in this case, the way he paces out an action scene, that action scene was amazing. Like, it was a great, fun fight. Even though this dude's just some kind of crazy nutso, we had no idea who this guy is.
Right. I forget what even happened at the end of issue 1. This guy killed his own friend or something like that?
He killed his own friend. He's like, it seems like he was boarded up under the bed or something. Batman finally, he just busts out. And how is this guy able to handle himself against Batman is beyond me.
He hid at the crime scene.
Yeah, right.
It was like, okay.
It's a little silly.
Reggie Simmons said, "Oh snap! They finally formed Voltron."
You know it.
It's the double G Reggie right there.
That's what I was thinking. Double G.
Reggie.
Double G.
Yeah, so no, I appreciate that. That makes me kind of look at it a little different. Yeah, Alfred, I guess he had downed a bottle of whiskey the night before. He was worried about Bruce or whatever, and
And I like the idea that Bruce's grave is already there, even though I don't think that's how graves work. Like, you don't put a headstone before you bury the body. I think it would just sink or something when you did that. I don't think you can do that. But
you get the plot, but you don't put the headstone until they actually die, right?
Yeah, right. But anyway, he's rich. He can do it. Why not? But the idea that his grave is already there and Alfred's like, one day we're going to bury you there, and I know it. And this, I don't know. That to me was the heart of that issue, was the final conversation with Bruce and Alfred. It just worked so well for me.
No, yeah, that's true. That is true. Yeah, I'm still going to stick with it. I might as well just pick up the 12 issues. I'm sure, like, I knew going in, Warren Ellis is going to do a good Batman run, so I'm going to stick with it.
Hey, Robbie, I have a question for you real quick.
Yeah.
You've read both issues. I have number 1. I didn't read it yet, and I didn't pick up number 2. I have a question. Is it easy to pick up and read? Do you have to have knowledge of other stuff before this, or is it standalone to where I can just start reading number 1 and go to number 2, no problem?
Oh, it's completely standalone. You can just jump in with issue number 1 and keep going.
Okay.
So I'm not reading Detective because when I jump back in, I guess I should have jumped in at issue 1000.
Yeah.
Because what's it at now, like 1015?
1015.
1015.
How many of you guys are reading Tech?
I'm reading Tech. I think it's the best thing that Batman's got going for him. Tomasi is one of my favorite writers as well, so...
Damn, so I'm slipping, is what you're telling me.
Bro, this...
I don't want to say you're slipping, but, you know, we can get you caught up, my friend.
Basically, I need to be reading Detective. So you guys, I'll sit this one out. You guys want to talk about what's going on?
Man, this one was so good that it got tears in my eyes, man.
I can see that.
You know what do you think about Mrs. Freeze coming out?
Bro, and then I guess, you know, showing her full capabilities, so to speak, you know, awesome. And then, you know, I guess spoiler, at the end, she pretty much like decides like, yo, I don't need you anymore, Mr. Freeze, and pretty much crushes his heart, you know, because that's the only reason why he's living, in a sense, you know.
Yeah, that's cool.
Let me catch Jim up with what's going on.
So she comes back. I guess he finds a cure for her disease.
That's right. Well,
okay.
Lex Luthor gave him a cure,
and
you know how there's the whole Perpetua thing in the sky and all the different issues of DC with the whole Justice League and all that stuff that's going on. So Lex Luthor gave him this cure, but it looks like this cure is turning her crazy, and she's enjoying killing, she's enjoying robbing, and he's starting to say like, whoa, that's not my wife. Like, even though I did bad things to bring her back, I always did it for my wedding vows, and that's it.
Yeah.
I didn't like hurting people. I didn't like stealing. I just had to bring my wife back, and now she's enjoying everything too much. So at the end of the issue, he tells her, "Hey, stop doing that." And she's like, "You can't control me." And so she like shoots him with the gun, and she takes off. And so he gets together with Batman, and he's like, "Batman, I need your help." And Batman's like, "If you need my help, then you got to cure everybody." And so he gives the cure to all the girls that he had used and all the people in the theater that he had frozen, and now they're gonna work together to stop her.
Dang.
It's legit, man.
Nice.
It got me emotional, man.
Yeah.
And then I like, you know, Batman's training to like take on Freeze, like just when he was like freezing his hand,
Where he lets him ice his arm.
Yeah,
He's like,
bro.
I can handle it.
He's like, don't like keep it there, you know. It's like, you know, this guy is
Before Freeze shows up, he's trying to get a cure for the people, and so he tells Alfred, "Just shoot me with the gun, and we'll try this cure that we've come up with, and try it on me." There's Batman, right, being a hero,
Yes.
It's too good. It's too good.
Tomasi really understands the character of Batman, and he's doing a really fun Batman run right now. I think his stories at times go a little too long. Like, I think they could be shorter, but I don't know. Like, aside from that, it's just like a little nitpick thing. But he knows Batman. He was the editor of Batman when I think Grant Morrison was writing it. And he's like, I don't want to be an editor. I just want to be a writer now. But he's doing a really good job. And this whole idea of bringing back Nora, and that's cool. So I guess they completely have wiped out the idea that Snyder did in the New 52, that Nora was not, in fact, Mr. Freeze's wife, just somebody he was obsessed with.
Yeah.
So apparently that's out the window now, which to me made Freeze a little bit more creepier.
It did.
But the idea of Nora turning and all that kind of stuff, it's really interesting. It's going to make Freeze even crazier going
I
forward.
just assume Rebirth changed everything that ever happened with New 52.
Yeah, it did.
If they wanted to, right? I mean, like, you know.
Or we were supposed to get those answers in Doomsday Clock, but we just
still waiting.
Not really.
it doesn't seem like we're gonna get them, but anyway, that's what we were told.
Yeah.
You know, I've heard nothing but good things about the Detective Comics run, and it's actually one I've been missing. And normally it's the namesake title, the Batman title, which is the main book. Right now it's Detective Comics, which is the main Batman title. I'm really looking forward to Tom King's run coming to an end on Batman and getting James Tynion, I don't ever pronounce that right, getting him in there writing the main Batman title. I think that's going to be really good.
He did a great job when he was doing Detective when Rebirth started. That was really good stuff.
Yeah.
So I'm very excited for that. Tom King's run has been inconsistent and a lot of filler, and it's just like there are issues that are great, and then there are issues that are just like, why are you wasting my time with this? So
there was like 3 issues in a row that were literally just filler issues of them hanging out at the beach, having a pina colada. It was horrible.
Bro, he turned Batman into a crybaby. Like all he did was
he's always been a crybaby. Come on.
He had a porn stash. He had a porn stash, and he was sitting on the beach for two issues. It was crazy.
I didn't like those issues either, but I was really cool with Batman with the stash. I thought the Bat stash was too cool.
The Magnum PI stash.
Yeah, I loved it, and he had the shirt. And
He did have the shirt. I'll give him that.
All right, cool. So what else we got for DC? So is that Event Leviathan or something?
Yeah, Event Leviathan.
See, I didn't read that either.
I'm not on. I'm sadly to say, I feel over the last couple years the pendulum has shifted, and Marvel has had the better reads.
It's true.
Where I think when Rebirth first came out, it was definitely DC heavy for me. But now I think everything on my poll is mostly Marvel and indies. So I have Detective on my poll and pretty much like Batman, TMNT. But that just ended, so I don't even think I have anything else DC on my poll, sadly.
What other DC books do you guys got?
Anybody else get Far Sector?
Yeah, Far Sector was great. Far Sector was amazing.
No, you got this one, huh?
Yeah, I do have that one.
I'm sorry. Did Ryan say something? That's awesome.
I did.
Yeah.
Well, it's perfect.
Welcome to the party,
he's
pal.
the Lantern guy.
I've had zero input to give on any of these Marvel books.
You mean, Ryan, you didn't read Event Leviathan? Isn't that a Brian Michael Bendis? Aren't you a fanboy?
I read the first one, and I've been getting them all. I just haven't sat down and read the whole run yet.
I'm telling Brian.
I'm super forgetful.
I heard it was no good, that Event Leviathan.
I've been getting it, man, but even today after I read it, I'm like, why have I been getting this?
Yeah.
I did not like it whatsoever.
That's how I felt about that Marvel Contagion. I was like, man, shit sucks.
Yeah,
That was horrible. That was a horrible book.
Sure.
At least Contagion was just a thing that, 5 issues it's done. This Event Leviathan thing's going to keep going. It's going to keep building. It's going to be like, this was not a definitive ending. This was just the first act, basically. So they do reveal who he is, but I didn't care. I didn't care at all.
That this is Jim Lee's baby. I mean, this is what Jim Lee's doing over at DC, and I'm like, come on, man, you're better than that.
I was really happy that Contagion title was a weekly book.
Yeah.
I mean, it was five weeks. It was done. It's gone, and thank
5
God.
up, 5 down.
Yep.
Yeah. Leviathan is here to stay, though, unfortunately.
So what is this? What is this one?
So this is
Far Sector.
So this one I wanted to pick up, but it felt like you have to have read Grant Morrison's Green Lantern to understand it.
Nope.
Nope, not at all.
Oh, okay. So maybe I should.
It's a Young Animals line too.
brand new lantern,
It's a female lantern, right?
female lantern, yeah, man. And supposedly they're gonna. Ryan, you may know better than I, but the HBO series might be based off of this.
Maybe that's a potential choice they could do.
Before we get started, can anybody pronounce the girl's name? I can't pronounce her
Sojourner
name.
or whatever?
Yeah, whatever her name is, I can't pronounce it.
Sojourner or something, isn't it?
Yeah, nobody knows.
Yeah, something like that. I don't remember.
The human.
Yeah, she's a human. So
human.
it's a Green Lantern, and I love the idea that there's a Green Lantern title dealing with a sector that's not the Earth sector, right?
Oh, is that what's happening? It's a different area?
Yeah, but it's still an Earth-based lantern, which that's a little weird, but there's at least a mystery there. But the world building that was done was really incredible. And Jamal Campbell was on the artwork, and he's the cat that did Naomi. I love this cat's artwork.
Yeah.
I love it so much. So I thought this was a great issue. And, DC's got this like 5G thing coming up, and everybody's talking about how they're going to switch over some of the characters. There are a lot of rumors that the new Green Lantern is either going to be Teen Lantern from the Young Justice book or this lady from Far Sector. So if that's the case, this is a first appearance of who could be kind of a major character. But the book itself, the story was really fun. It was very imaginative and very great at world building. I thought it was really cool.
Is this an ongoing or is it a miniseries?
12 issues.
It's a maxi series, I guess they call it.
So
Yeah,
the whole
12 issues
premise
from
is
Young
there's
Animal.
There's this new world, and there's 20 billion people living on this world.
Damn.
And they used to live at two neighboring worlds, like almost like a moon and an Earth. And they warred against each other, almost killed each other, and made each other go extinct. And so the leaders got together and took everybody's emotions away, so they can't get angry and kill each other again.
That kind of reminds me of Saga with living on the planet and then living on the moon and fighting each other.
Yeah, it's got that vibe for sure. And so she shows up because there's a murder, the first murder in 500 years, and she's got to solve it, and that's how it begins.
That's kind of like some Demolition Man type shit.
There you go.
All right, cool. You want to talk? All right, so this dark multiverse stuff, right?
Yes.
So I like the idea. It's basically a DC what if.
Yep.
I loved the Death of Superman one.
Yeah.
That was badass.
Yeah.
Lois Lane, so distraught. She got from who's the guy who gave her Superman's powers?
Eradicator?
Eradicator.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is he the one that ends up giving the Superman of tomorrow the powers to? You know how they have this new Superman? Yeah, Cyborg Superman.
Yeah. Steel.
He was the one with the visor.
The visor one.
Yeah, that was the Eradicator.
Oh, that was actually him posing
Yeah.
as Superman. That's right. Yeah. Anyway, I didn't love the Blackest Night one. How I loved the Death of Superman one.
I agree.
Right? It was like a Lobo driven story, a little bit goofy. They didn't really play with the Blackest Night as much as I thought they would have. I guess they kind of made it say, okay, what if Sinestro didn't share the White Lantern power and he fucks everything up, basically,
yeah,
right?
Became a whole new different story because of that one thing he didn't do.
Right.
Whereas
I
the
like
other one,
the-
you kind of saw it.
I like the idea that he was like half White Lantern, half Black Lantern.
Yeah,
That was really cool. But yeah, aside from that, it wasn't near as good as the Death of Superman one or the
Yeah.
Nightfall one. I thought both of those were good. They were dark.
Yeah.
They were really interesting. This one was just it was a big Lobo story, and
Yeah.
Lobo falling in love with Dove. Like, ooh, awesome.
Yeah.
Who cares?
These,
That was great.
the Dark Multiverse books are really important that you read the actual story itself, like the original story. It makes the books that much better when you can compare the actual story to this new version of it.
Yeah, it's like reading like the What If from Marvel. What if Dark Phoenix had killed everyone or whatever? You know what I mean? It's like,
Wolverine, Hulk.
right? Something like that.
Yeah.
So what are the other ones? So I know they're doing Infinite Crisis. They're doing that contract, the Judas contract. There's
Isn't
one
that-
more.
Is that it? Is there one more?
Well, they
There's
did the
one more
Nightfall one. The Nightfall one came out a couple weeks
Nightfall.
ago.
That's what it was.
That was
Yeah.
real. That was really good.
So I
Yeah,
wonder
that was
what's the
good.
dark multiverse going to be? That Batman dies when he breaks his bat, or that back, or something like that.
He doesn't take the reins back from Azrael, and Azrael stays Batman.
Yep.
That's what it is.
That was
It's
actually
really
a
cool.
good read.
Because he was getting annoying as fuck as Bat. All right, so what else we got? What about is there any more regular DC? What do you got there?
Flash, Catwoman, Superman.
I haven't read any of these.
No.
Flash was the start of a new story that was really cool.
I liked it.
Yeah, with the Rogues took Luther's gifts, and now they basically have they're running Central City. So you're kind of like a far ahead from the beginning of the story. You don't know how it's all happened yet, but it was a really cool spotlight on the Rogues. So if you like the Rogues, you should definitely check that out.
And there's a decapitation in that book as well. That was
Yes.
pretty interesting.
Yes.
It's that book itself. I don't know if you guys noticed the plastic covers, but I actually like those plastic covers. And the book, the art is awesome. I mean, this is a good looking book.
That's Sandoval on that one, right? Yeah, like the art on Flash. Flash has been a very consistent book since Williamson started taking over in Rebirth, so 2016. But that's been really fun.
Josh has been on that title from the very first issue, I think.
Of Rebirth, yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's over
Yeah.
80 issues, and we're not like screaming for him to leave like Tom King on Batman.
Yeah. No, he does a
There's
great
a
job. And
point
he's doing
maybe
the
a couple
Batman
months back.
Superman as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just flipped through it. The art is awesome. Like I didn't read it, but flipping through it, the art is really nice.
I like a good Captain Cold story.
So let's jump over to real quick. I saw a couple guys have Dollhouse on their pull, no?
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah.
That was a good issue.
DC Black Label is pimping Joe Hill to make him write 100 books at once. he seems to have a lot going on. Dollhouse was a pretty cool like horror book, right? This kid gets a dollhouse, it's passed down from generations or whatever, and I guess we don't know if it's really that she's talking to these dolls in the dollhouse and shrinks down and goes inside of it. Is it all in her mind because she has an abusive dad that's beating the mother, or is it really happening, right?
Dang.
Well, that's the best thing about good horror is you're like, is it really happening or is it just an allegory to something else? You know,
Right.
So
Joe
yeah.
Hill, I mean, that's what Stephen King's son. He did Lock and Key. He's doing Heads in a Basket, and I saw them solicit like a couple other books he's doing for Black Label right now.
Well, the Hill House books he's curating, but he's only writing Basket Full of Heads and Plunge. This one was written by Mike Carey, so he's
Oh,
like
so
kind of like the editor of it in a way.
Oh yeah, you're right. M.R. Carey. So it's just on Hill House Comics.
Yeah.
Oh,
So it's
okay.
like he put the teams together. He helped develop the stories and stuff like that. But he's doing Basket Full of Heads. He's doing that there's a little short story in the back of each of the first
The
issues.
Sea
and-
or something.
yeah, the Sea of something. Then there's the one called The Plunge. But everything else is going to be written by someone else, but kind of curated by him, they say.
Makes sense. Gotcha. Yeah, so this one was good though. I mean, I think I enjoyed it. I liked it better than Basket Full of Heads though. That
Same.
one, I kind of feel like their world building, and we don't know what the basket's all about, but I kind of like, I guess, the little island and the people that they established. Have you read that one?
I haven't.
No. But yeah, nothing really major happened, I guess, is what it was.
The Dollhouse family is really good.
Was that?
I love the slow burn of Dollhouse Family and Basket Full of Heads too. I thought they were all really good setup issues.
Yeah, no, Basket Full of Heads was a good setup issue for sure. I do want to see what happens because the way that it ends, it's like, okay, now we're getting somewhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
The side story about Dollhouse, Chi-Town Buzz asking, yes, Sea Dog. So it's like it kind of reminds me of the story that's in the Watchmen issues. Like what was that in the Watchmen they had like that pirate story or whatever.
I almost said The Voyage of the Dawn Treader, but that's like Narnia stuff.
Yeah, something with
Narnia.
The Black
Blackbeard or
Freighter,
something
that's
like
what
that.
it is.
All right, cool. What else we got for DC?
Catwoman, man,
Anyone
which is
else?
actually a great read, but I'm not sure if anyone else is
Is
reading.
anyone else reading Catwoman?
I did not read Catwoman.
No.
That's it, man. I mean,
Is it good?
yeah.
I was reading it at first, and I just kind of fell out of it. So
You know what, man? This issue was really, really good. I'd recommend checking it out and seeing if you want to jump back in.
yeah, I thought that what's her name, Joelle Jones,
Yep.
the writer on that. She because she's an artist. When artists become writers, I kind of get nervous, but she's done a good job. But I like I said, I
killing
fell
it,
out of it because it started like tying in with the Year of the Villain thing, and I kind of just lost interest. But I'll go
it's
back
still,
and check it
this
out.
issue was still tied in with Year of the Villain. But what's interesting about this one is that Catwoman, she's gonna play Lex Luthor. She's gonna use what he's doing against him the way she always plays everybody. You know.
Yeah.
So
Well, as Selena Wood.
Yep.
So that's cool. That's cool.
Yep. So.
Cool. So I guess if we're all DC, I have 3 Image books. Did you guys read? Is anyone reading like Oblivion Song, Gideon Falls, Family Tree?
I read Family Tree and Gideon Falls. I'm a huge Gideon Falls fan, but I've fallen way behind on Oblivion Song. But feel free, spoil away. I don't care.
Yeah.
So I mean, I guess we could just touch on it. We don't have to go super spoiler. But Oblivion Song is Robert Kirkman's book. It's like, okay, instead of zombies, it's dimensions. You can travel into a different dimension, which is kind of like primitive. They have monsters like Krakoa monsters almost, and we're finally starting to get more of the intelligent life from the other dimension. So that's kind of what's cool about it. And they're like capturing humans and experimenting on them, and we don't really know what they're looking for yet. But they're trying to figure out. We know that they think Earth is soft. We know that they're stronger than us. So I guess we got to see where that goes.
Kind of like an upside down type of.
It is kind of like that a little bit, yeah.
Cool.
So what happened was the premise is that this guy was working on this device, right? that you can go into another dimension. He accidentally sends an entire block of, I think it's Philadelphia,
Oh shoot!
to the other dimension, and then that block from that dimension is replaced here. So they have to block it off because it's like all this crazy wildlife, and then you lose all of these people that their families, you know, they have like a wall, like a memorial, and this guy goes into Oblivion, which is the name of the dimension, to try to save people and bring them back. But I think like 10 years has passed already, and
some damage has been done.
the government has got involved, and it's like a brother tale at the same time. One of the brothers is stuck on Oblivion, one of them is here. He's trying to get his brother back, but his brother doesn't want to come back. It's a good story though. You can crush these trades, yo. It's a fast-paced read, and the trades are set up in such a way where you don't really know when the issue ends.
It just keeps going.
It just keeps going continuously. So I don't know if that's how he intended to write it or whatever, but I'm digging Oblivion Song.
Yeah, Oblivion Song is a great series. It's it's obviously the book he's working on now because he's done doing The Walking Dead. So he's putting all his time and effort into this.
Yeah.
One of the things about this book was, and why I jumped on it from the very beginning, he had already wrote the first 10 issues before they were even released. And I thought that was really cool because he was dedicated to it. And we're on 21 right now.
That's awesome.
So he said plenty of time and effort to go into this title, and it's a monthly issue that comes out once a month. And it's a type of book that needs to come out once a month, not twice a month, because it does go in a little bit more detail, and it takes a lot more thought process to put this book together. If you're not on this one, definitely jump on Oblivion Song. It's one of my favorites.
Yeah, you could pick up the 3 trades, and then I think they're like 2 issues from the last trade have been released. So I think the trades go up to 18. Then you have no, they go to, my bad, 16. And then, what are we talking about? Oblivion Song?
Yeah.
21. Yeah, anyway, something like that. You could look it up yourself. Anyway, so that's Oblivion. I like the name Oblivion Song is like when you're in Oblivion, the just ambiance and the noise of the planet or whatever is the Oblivion Song. It's supposed to be really like a beautiful sound or whatever.
That's crazy.
I guess I always thought of it like if you hear like crickets outside or something like that. You know what I mean? Gideon Falls. What is this, Jeff Lemire? I really like Gideon Falls. It's a little confusing, I would say, for me at least. How many of you guys are reading Gideon Falls?
Absolutely.
Just Robbie?
Yeah, I'm not on that, unfortunately. I'm on some IDW titles, so I could talk about that.
Gideon Falls is dope, though. Gideon Falls is like a horror type book. It's not really well, they have some kind of gory scenes, but I don't know. I don't know how I would really even explain it. I mean, Rob, you want to take a crack at it?
Well, I mean, it's hard to explain without spoiling it for people, like what the overall gist is. But it started off as an urban horror about this dude, and he's like picking up all these different pieces of like a rusty nail and a piece of wood. And he's trying to build this like thing he has visions of. It's this black barn in this town of Gideon Falls. And then a priest comes in because the former priest has been killed, and it just keeps building up. And in this issue, you like really understand a lot about where the story's going and what it's doing. But the story's been mysterious. The artwork is amazing.
The paneling is weird and like crazy and symmetric.
Yeah, it's incredibly atmospheric. The composition's great, but like it really just does a great job of having a jump scare. You know, you watch a horror movie and you're like, oh, it's hard to replicate that in a comic book. Gideon Falls does that. There was like a double-page splash in here where I turned the page. I'm like, oh.
It's creepy as hell with the bugs.
Yeah, it's great, man. It's so good.
This is issue
18?
16. I can give you the 3 trades. You can get caught up.
It's 18 this week.
That's dope.
Yeah, 18 is this week.
Oh yeah, my bad.
Yeah, you got a
I got
couple
it.
issues.
So what I have them all right here because I was reading the trades and then these take place after the trades. So now I'm finally caught up.
Cool. Yeah, that book came out the same week that Oblivion Song debuted, and I remember seeing them both sitting on the shelf together. I was like, which one? That one or Oblivion Song? And I went Oblivion Song, and I kind of regret it because I've heard nothing but good things about Gideon Falls. It's definitely something I'll probably pick up the trade and get caught up on.
Nice.
It's one of my favorite books right now. It was my favorite book of last year, and it's one of my favorites this year. It was so good.
Yeah, I'm into it. I like it. I definitely would like to reread it one day too. Like after maybe I don't know, we get to a stopping point or something. The last one that I'm going to bring up is an image number 1, Family Tree. It's a good jumping on point. Obviously, it's the beginning of the story. It seems interesting enough to keep on going. I'm definitely down to read issue 2. Rob, you said you read Family Tree?
Oh yeah, Family Tree was great.
What about you other guys? No.
I was on that.
Right.
Didn't get
Ryan
it.
did?
It gave me Middle West vibes. Is that weird? I feel like that's weird.
It's not. To me, at first, it gave me Farmhand vibes. I don't know if you guys have read Farmhand, but that's a really good one.
I hear
Farmhand is really good. Farmhand's awesome.
Yeah, it felt to me like it was going to be like Farmhand meets Sweet Tooth, but it definitely established its own identity. And it's a really cool story. Phil Hester's artwork is simple, but it's really fun, and it's very distinctive. He's got his own style. I loved it. It was a great little fun story that really engaged me and hooked me in. It's like set in the 90s.
Yeah.
So I went to high school in the 90s, so I love anything set in the 90s. And so it's just a cool, different take on the apocalypse almost in a way. And it was really personal and really cool about this family. I really liked it. I thought it was cool.
Like Perry Comics said, tree out my back. I was like, what?
You're right.
So yeah, to me, it feels like, we know reading the story that the world has ended. So it's showing us right before. And you see this girl, which looks like she's getting overgrown with trees, right? So I'm assuming that that's what kills humans, is that they all become plant life or something like that. So I guess maybe.
And
we'll
then there was like her grandfather was there, and he like gives her something to that might be part of it, because if you see like when at the very first page or whatever, they show like a grocery store and they show it like normal, and then at the end they show it like overgrown with vegetation. So yeah, probably something like that. Maybe they turn into trees and just take everything over. I don't know.
Yeah, like the grandfather gave her the bomb, and he was like, "Who told you to put the bomb on?" I didn't tell you to put the bomb on.
Heck yeah,
So Grandpa, but he's the badass. He comes through at the end of the issue, and you know that he's gonna be bringing some firepower to the fam. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna be doing some shit.
Yeah,
So
definitely a great writer.
I'm out of books. Is there anything else that you guys got? I know Robbie's got some shit.
I got a couple more.
What you got, bro?
So, been reading Usagi Yojimbo.
Oh, okay.
Love it. It's super fun. I know Perry's been reading it as well. But the last issue, real cool, because he winds up like coming across the road that he, I guess, started his journey to become like a Ronin and to eventually like become a samurai and all that. And he winds up, having like these memories and whatnot. And he comes across, I guess, he eventually needs to come inside because it's snowing, and then he comes across his house and he goes in, and then all of a sudden like this creature comes busting through the door, and it winds up being his old friend Tota that's like possessed, and he winds up having to like kill him, and it turns out to be the husband of the host that he's staying at. So it's pretty cool. If anyone that's into anything that's like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles or Usagi Yojimbo, I would highly recommend it. And then the other thing I would recommend is Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles itself. They had like a book called Road to 100, and it's pretty much just gets you caught up to where they're going or where they're at right now. And I think that book is not talked about enough in the comic book community. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles is a great read, and Shredder in Hell is another one that's phenomenal.
So the problem with Turtles is I've been collecting the deluxe editions, so I haven't been reading the singles. So I'm kind of behind on that, but and then Usagi Yojimbo, I only read the original, what is it, Fantagraphics run?
Okay.
And then I still want to read. I have all the Dark Horse Usagi Yojimbo saga books that I really mean to read. I like it though. It's a nice. It's a manga, right? But it's kind of like a Western manga, I guess.
Yeah. It's just a change of pace from other types of comics, So
Bishop is asking about Sandman Hellblazer. I think that came out 2 weeks ago, right?
I'm not sure, man. It's not something I pick up.
Like last week, maybe.
Was it last week?
Yeah.
One
of them.
I guess it's just Constantine has like an older version of himself that is in the mix now. I don't know.
Yeah, it was like they were trying to reset because Hellblazer was Vertigo, and then they moved him over to DC for New 52. That never really worked out, though he has been good in Justice League Dark. But it's just a return to Vertigo, like that style of Hellblazer. I thought it was cool for that, for sure. I think that's where he belongs, is in a Vertigo-esque title, aside from the DC universe.
Black Label, I guess, then, right?
Yes, DC Black Label.
So Perry Comics talking about Folklore. I'm not reading Folklore.
Folklords? Yeah, Folklords. That was my favorite comic book I read this week, y'all. Did y'all read this? Anybody read this?
I read it.
Who's
I like
the publisher on that?
I put Far Sector a little higher than Folklords myself, but I would put Folklords at number 2. I thought it was a really good just look into the world.
Yeah, yes. I'm not reading that.
It sounded really interesting, but my shop didn't get any copies of it. Apparently, it's like about a 16-year-old kid who kind of goes off and learns about the world that he lives in, type thing.
Yeah, like he lives in a fantasy world, so there's like giants and they're like little gnomes and dwarves and all that kind of stuff. And he dreams about our world, like a scientific world filled with technology. So he dresses like in a suit, everybody's like, why are you dressed all weird? And they all have to, they hit a coming of age thing. They have to pick a quest. And he's like, I'm going to find folk lords and find this other world that exists that we're going to go find. And it was just really cool introduction to the concept and the characters and the idea, and a nice, I just really thought it was super cool. The idea of, because usually we're in a real world dreaming of a fantasy land. This is like an inversion of that. Yeah.
I like that idea. Dark Ranger saying, what do you guys think about Superman 18? Oh, is it 18 or 17?
17.
I dropped Superman long ago.
Yeah.
So
I'm so done with this.
Big thing that's happening in this issue is that Clark's getting ready to tell the world that he's Clark. You know, so that's what he's talking about. Like, he's gonna out himself just like Spider-Man did, and nothing good comes of that, man.
And there's no legitimate reason for it.
Nope.
Right? Like, there's nothing that like big that happens to make him want to do this. He just decides he wants to do this, and just Bendis' direction on Superman,
Yeah, I feel you, man.
I've tried so hard.
But remember what I mentioned earlier? I felt like the swing. I felt like when Bendis made the jump, that's when the whole swing happened with the whole Marvel stories becoming better, and they started to let the writers kind of like do more of their own thing.
You might be right.
And then when Bendis came over to DC, it's all changed. Like when they took Kamasi off of Superman, I was so upset because that was one of the best Superman runs in a long time, man. That was one of my favorite Superman runs or reads. So, but yeah, I'm not on Superman and Bendis, unfortunately.
Colin Harmon asking, what's your guys' favorite like Dawn of X titles? He likes X-Force and Marauder so far.
X-Force, Fallen Angels.
Marauders is up there too for me.
I go Marauders. That was a really fun book.
I like Marauders and Fallen Angels. I think and X-Force I liked as well.
X-Force was really good.
X-Force just blew me away with
the Professor X thing.
Yeah, man.
Excalibur I didn't love.
Okay.
X-Men I didn't love. New Mutants I didn't love.
New Mutants is horrible.
I feel like it's too early.
Yeah.
Because I don't know what the scheme is yet. So I don't know which one to love, you know? Like, I don't know where it's all going as of yet. So I want to just wait before I choose one.
I guess, just so far. I mean, obviously, things could change. We're only 1 to 2 issues in, right?
But Marauder was probably the best read, like,
yeah,
from the get. And that's the one that everyone's been like.
You see Kitty Pryde kicking ass.
Yeah, right. Who doesn't love that?
I like Fallen Angels the best so far, man. That's my favorite.
Okay.
So, Rob, you got any other books that you want to highlight real quick?
Yeah, there's one from Vault Comics called Black Stars Above this week that came out. And they had one of those, they always do those variant covers. So they did this like Frank Miller-esque cover from Whiteout #1 or whatever. So both of these are really cool. They're like H.P. Lovecraft, cosmic horror type thing. Really fun. Vault Comics does amazing like sci-fi, fantasy. Now they're delving into horror. So this is one of their horror books, and it was really cool. It's about this like woman who's part of a family in the 1800s up in Canada. They're fur trappers, and things are getting tight with money, and her family's decided they're just going to marry her off. So she just runs away because she gets this weird package. This weird dude's like, if you deliver this package, I'll pay you money. And so she takes her chance to like go away. And then of course there's H.P. Lovecraft goodness that happens out of that. But that's been really, really fun stuff in Vault Comics. But I really, really like that one. That was one of my favorite ones this week.
Yeah, I gotta start checking them out, man. I saw you pumping the Vault Comics on Twitter. I was like, okay, I got to see what's up. Yeah.
Vault Comics does great original work. Like if you're tired of superheroes, if you're like, oh, Bendis is messing up Superman again.
Yeah.
Tom King on Batman. If you're just tired of that kind of usual fare that you get, check out the Image Comics by Jeff Lemire. We were talking about Family Tree. We talked about Gideon Falls, but like Vault Comics, everything they do is pretty much something I'm just totally in love with. If you've never read something from Vault Comics, These Savage Shores, which is like a vampire book that just came out in trade, read that, and I think you'll fall in love with what they do. And definitely their stuff is so different, innovative, and a little bit more cerebral than your typical superhero fare. I love their stuff so much.
I see. Cool, man. Yeah, thanks to Everything Comics. Says he likes the round table. It's a great format. So what I envision for this segment is to kind of have a revolving panel of guests, right? We're all on this group DM and Instagram, so I figure I'll drop the link in there every Friday. Whoever can make it, feel free. And if you can't make it, you don't have to tell me that you're sick or something. I don't care. Like, just don't come on, right?
Yeah.
But
hey, Jim,
obviously, I would like as many people to come on every week to keep it fun, keep it fresh. And I talked to Comic Tom. He was kind of interested in maybe even hosting it on his channel a couple times. Or Robbie, if you even want to do that, I mean, it doesn't always have to be on this channel, but it can be like at least uniting a lot of us that do similar content and coming together and talking spoilers, right?
Love it. Love it.
Cool, man. So
Thank you so much.
yeah, man. No, thanks you guys for joining. Real quick, I guess we could just sign off. We did about an hour. You guys want to just let everyone know who you are, where they can find you, starting with Bueller? Oh, hold on. Wait a minute. Bueller had the big-ass pitch in the beginning.
Save me to the last. I got it all written down.
Chad, you want to let them know what's up?
Oh, for sure. So for all the 90 holics that are still in the chat, they already know YouTube is 90. You can find me at 90MF Comics, where I do comic book reviews with my homies on a panel, similar format like this. And then you can also find me on the NCE channel. That's right, NCE, as I join George and That Geek Show every Monday. Well, it used to be every Monday night, so now it's like every other Monday night. But find me at 90MF Comics, MCE, Gem. It was a pleasure to be on here, as I said earlier. Big fan of the channel, and I can't wait to do this again. And this panel was great. Ryan, great to meet you. Robbie, pleasure. Bueller, I'm sorry I underdressed for the occasion.
All right, Robbie, you want to take it home here?
Oh, absolutely. I'm Rockin' Robbie from Pop Culture Philosophers. You can find us here on YouTube, Pop Culture Philosophers, at popculturephilosophers.com. You can follow me on Twitter at TheRockinRobbie. And we do the weekly comic book review. I usually release that late Tuesday night. I work at a comic shop, so I have the ability to be able to read these books before a lot of other people can. So I get my video up as soon as I can. And I usually cover anywhere between 30 to 40 comics every single week. So that's really fun.
Yeah.
Wow.
He reads a lot. Ryan, what do you got for us?
I don't know how to follow that. I'm Brian. Hang out with Tom. I hang out with John's comics.
Sometimes I go to Tom's house.
That's about it. Yep, just me and Tom and John, and I hang out with Perry occasionally every now and then. I want to come up and hang out with Bueller, but that's I don't think I'm as close as you and Matt are, apparently.
Yeah, it took me 15 minutes to get here, man.
15 minutes. Oh, man.
Now we're close
I'm
by.
not close.
Matt, you want to let them know who you are and where you can find you?
Yeah, guys, I'm the boy who had 7. I'm Matt. I just like to do a whole bunch of stuff with my collection, man. I love my collection. It is a prize to me, so I do a bunch of unboxings, share all that kind of stuff. And then, of course, Comic Gories. You guys have to check it out.
It's fun.
It's where we just, have a panel on like this, and their guys are competing, or the gals even, to find in their collection a book that we bring up completely random on the show. And they got 30 seconds.
Like, what do you say? Like, give me a werewolf book.
Yep.
So whoever's got the best looking one.
Yep. Yeah, man. So we pull up just a random category, comic gory, and then whoever brings the best one that fits that comic gory, the chat votes. It's a fun time. You guys come check it out.
For sure. Bueller? Bueller's on like 8 channels, man.
Yeah,
Well, first off, before I get into this promo, I literally have written down in front of me. I just want to say it was so nice to meet Robbie. I've never met him before. He does some great reviews. I've watched him for quite a while. Like you said, he reads a ton of books. So whatever I need to know about a book, I go check him out. Gem, first time meeting you just about an hour and a half ago. Awesome meeting you. The other guys here I've worked with before. I've been on their channels. They've been on my channels. We've had a lot of fun. But let me tell you a little bit about my channel. First, I am Bueller from Comics with Bueller. This is our first full year of doing YouTube. Thousands of people watch our videos every week. We're almost at 8,000 subscribers. We cover everything comics, new, used, old, good ones, bad ones, you name it, we cover it. We do one of the most watched, if not the most watched sneak peek video every Wednesday, the week before new comics comes out. You can find out what's going to hit the stores. All the variant covers are in that video. We also do a top 10 video, my top 10 new comics picks of the week. We put that video out, and a lot of times you can find books in my video that end up on Comic Tom's top 10 video, and you can find that 3 days before Tom's list comes out. So that's kind of cool. We also do a bunch of other stuff. We have a bunch of shows. We do comic book investing videos. We do just the key videos where we go through a whole series of books like Wolverine, Moon Knight, Deadpool, and we tell you all the keys for those books. We also do regular haul videos. We do eBay versus Overstreet, where we compare the price on eBay sold listings with prices from the Overstreet price guide. You'll be amazed what the difference is. It's not as big as you think. We also do live auctions where you can buy books for very cheap. We also do videos showing every cover for a certain run. Lately, we've done ones for Todd McFarlane's run for Marvel and also G.I. Joe and Transformers. We also do a coffee and comics video every Monday. It's kind of like a talk show, and it's actually sponsored by a coffee shop. So guess what? I get free coffee, and that's awesome. Nice. What else do we got? We also have a new series coming out. It's a top 10 series, and then we talk to you about the top 10 books that you could buy a house with, or the top 10 books worth their weight in gold. We also do a bunch of interviews. I talked about that earlier. One last thing I have to say is these pretzels are making me thirsty.
These pretzels are making me thirsty. You just sold me, Bueller.
Thanks, man. Appreciate that.
Go to subscribe to all the channels that Bueller's on. If you guys are watching this and you came from one of these other guys' channels, you don't know who I am. I'm GemMint. I do daily videos, a little bit from here and there. I do a lot of omnibus coverage like these things. I do hauls, I read them, do reviews, new comic book day reviews, statue unboxings is kind of what I'm known for, and just kind of like Bueller, like other fun shit surrounding the hobby. You know, try to make sure it's something new every day and fun stuff. So check me out if you aren't already. So with that long ass outro, I think we're about done. Again, I appreciate everybody who came through, and I hope to continue to do this. Hopefully the videos do well and people are into it. Yeah. So yeah, man, thanks, and thanks for everyone watching. You guys have a good night. Peace.
Thanks, guys. Have a good night.
Thank you.